Diontae Johnson, and this one is a little screwier.
Right?
He's holding in, and he said yesterday it was Coach Tomlin's decision that he not practice. And then when Tomlin was asked about it, he said, it wasn't my decision. So, there were times last year where when T.J. Watt was holding in, you kind of wondered whether Tomlin's really on board with this or whether he's just comfortable with the message it sends that you can just show up and not practice, especially when he is the king of we want volunteers, not hostages. You're kind of in the hostage category when you're showing up and holding in and refusing to practice.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, but you're still at least there, even though you're not happy about your contract. And that's where, coaches to, dance the fine line there about, understanding the other circumstances that are there. But I'm with you in the fact that, one, that's an awkward exchange yesterday. All right. So that obviously something is not on the right page or Diontae Johnson didn't want to take the heat and he thought maybe Mike Tomlin was going to take it for him. Also here too, Mike, what's interesting to me a little bit is just like, hey, Diontae Johnson, we know he's a really good player. They drafted him. I mean, we know how good they are at finding talent at the receiver position. But, again, he's another one. I'll go, what's the sweet spot for him? And it's different than DK Metcalf where it's like, will he be the highest paid or the third highest paid or where it's going to be? With Diontae Johnson, he's not, to me, in the class of those two guys. Not yet at least. He's not. I mean, again, we're talking about a guy 2 years ago where he couldn't catch the football. He had the most drops in the league. So there's those issues there. Really good football player, but I'm interested to see how they balance what they pay him too. I am. As much as I like the guy, he's not as good as DJ Moore at $20 million a year or Terry McLaurin at $22 a year. And then you get into the Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin conversation at $20 million a year with Mike Williams. Is he that good? Is he those guys? I don't know if he is either. So that one's interesting to me too, let alone when you add in the Chase Claypool is probably going to be in a similar situation here soon too, and I think he actually has more physical ability than Diontae Johnson. So there's a few factors here in Pittsburgh that intrigue me.
And think about it. You've got the market exploding at the position, so guys who haven't gotten paid yet want theirs.
Yeah.
But not all of these guys are going to be as good as the ones at the top of the market. And the Steelers are very good at drafting receivers anywhere in the draft and working them into competent starters, and they drafted 2 more receivers this year. You've got Claypool coming behind Diontae Johnson. And a decade ago, they made an offer to Mike Wallace. Wallace said no thanks. They gave it to Antonio Brown instead, and Wallace left in free agency. I made the point several weeks ago because Mark Caboli of The Athletic said they're not going to pay either of these guys $20 million a year. It's like, well, then they better be ready to watch him walk away. It's almost like outside linebacker was back in the 90s for the Steelers. It might be,
yeah.
Where, but you led the team in sacks, great season, you want to get paid? Sorry, it's not going to be here. Bring in the next guy. Same thing for the next guy. Sorry, great, thanks for having you. We'll bring in the next guy. They're doing the same thing at the receiver position, and there's a chance that neither guy is
Maybe
there
not.
After 2022 for Johnson, 23 for Claypool.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how it plays out too, because you stated it correctly, and they have an eye for it. And the guys they drafted this year, I mean, I'm a big fan of. George Pickens, the kid they drafted out of Georgia, if he doesn't have injury and out for most of last year, he's a first-round talent at receiver. So he could be that next guy. Calvin Austin, the other kid they drafted out of Memphis, oh my gosh. I mean, he's, a smaller jitterbug type, but he's got 3 rockets up his ass, Mike. He can fly. He's going to be one of those type of guys. So you're right. That option is on the table to kind of let it play out and go, wait, we got guys coming up the system here. No big deal. And it's off kilter with Claypool and Diontae Johnson to where you're going to have Claypool next year too. So I know this one's a little trickier to me, and I don't know how this one's going to play out. DK Debo, they're getting done. There's no doubt. It's fine details and fine print. This one I sit here and go, I don't necessarily I'm sold this one's getting done.
And I think yesterday's awkwardness between Johnson and Tomlin may be the sign that at some point what's going to happen to Johnson is what we thought could eventually happen with T.J. Watt last year, where they just say, it's time.
Yeah,
you're here.
There you go.
It's time to
Play
go to
football.
work.
Right.
And then he gets paid this year, and he goes elsewhere next year and gets paid in free agency.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights From NBC Sports.